Hi everyone, my name is Eduardo, also known as Educame Player, and today I'm here to teach you how to play Arcade Champion, which is my card game inspired by fighting games. Now what you're seeing right now is not exactly Arcade Champion because Arcade Champion is a tabletop game, a physical game. This is, however, a digital recreation that I made inside a software called Tabletop Simulator, which is very handy to play games with other people and to record this footage and to show how things work. So it's a lot easier for me, but just to be clear, Arcade Champion is a physical game, not a digital download, alright? Now, let's talk about the game. So in Arcade Champion, you choose one of the available characters in the game. In this case, we have Lucas. And Lucas has his own special moves, just like in the video game, and you use a different combinations of cards to perform those attacks. So for example, you can see there he has an attack called Ki Blast, and Ki Blast is done with that arrow to the right and a punch. We usually call that a quarter circle forward in the fighting game community, but you don't need to know those names. In fact, those names are not even in the game. You just need to pay attention to the direction of the arrows, right? So if you wanted to do a Ki Blast, for example, you would need the following cards. So you're going to need this card right here, and you're going to need this card right here. This would be a punch. So this is how you do a Ki Blast. So every move has their different inputs depending on your character, right? Then you also have these things right here. So these are the tokens that come with the game, and they help you control your super meter and your life meter. This first one right here, and let's use one of the cool functions that we have here in Tabletop Simulator. This is your life meter. So you have numbers here 2, 4, 6, and so on and so forth. You can see that it goes up to 14 because Lucas has 14 points of life. You can see right here in his card. So when you take damage, let's say you take 1 damage, you only need to flip this, and you can see it's a 13. If you take another point of damage, then you just remove this from the game, and now you know that you have 12. Let's say you take 2 damage, just remove this. You take 1 more damage, you just flip this, and you go on, you go on, and go on. When you get to 6, something special happens, because if you take 1 damage here, you're gonna flip it, and you're gonna see that it's now red. Why is it red? Because now you have access to your super moves that you can see here in your super meter. But let's talk about how exactly the game works. Let me just refresh here your life meter real quick. 12 and 14. All right. So there is actually a few different ways that you can attack in this game. The first way you can attack is with a normal. Now, what is a normal? A normal is either a punch or a kick. Normals will deal 1 point of damage. Okay. The second thing you can do is you can attack with one of your special moves. You're gonna see here in your character sheet, like we talked about, Ki Blast or Slide Kick. See, let's do, for example, a Rising Fist. You see that input that looks like a little Z there? We're gonna use one of those. You can see it here. Okay, so I'm gonna use this and then the punch. Okay, let's put this kick back here. And now we have a Rising Fist, which is that special move. The third way you can attack is you can attack with a throw. Now a throw is this over here, okay? So a throw will deal 1 point of damage, just like a normal. Again, a normal is a punch or a kick. A special move will deal 2 points of damage. These numbers are for all characters. There's no difference in damage depending on the character. Of course, once we get into the different characters, then yes, there is some variations here and there, but those little changes are specified in the card, so you don't need to worry about. As a general rule, it's 1 damage for a normal, which is a punch or a kick. It's 2 damage for one of your special moves. It's 1 damage for the throw. What about the super, you say? Well, super will deal a lot more damage. Supers will deal 5 points of damage, but you don't have access to your supers from the beginning. Like we said, if your life is on red, so either 5 or lower, you have supers, but you also have supers when you have all your super tokens. But we're going to talk about that a little later, all right? Now, let's go over all your cards real quick. So this right here, these cards right here, those are your buffs. Buffs is like a special upgrade that you select for your character. You actually have 4 different buffs because this card kind of flips like this, right? So you're gonna pick the one you want. Let's say you like zoning, which is this first one right here. Before the game start, you select the one you want to use. So in this case, we want to use zoning. So you're gonna put it right here, and then you pick your card, you put it right here, and there you go. So now you have Lucas equipped with zoning. But you could have Lucas equipped with reversal or these other two right here, right? But let's go with zoning for this first game. So these are modifiers that will change every character plays. In fact, let's not use them for this example because we're just teaching the basic mechanics, right? So, but every character has 4 different buffs. They will change. Sometimes they will give you a new special move. They might give you a new super. They might change the properties of your attacks. Maybe if you land one of your specials, you get something extra. It changes the way your character plays. Sometimes they will cover your bases. Like maybe your character has a weakness. Maybe your character has a specific area that he's not very good. Oh, you have a buff for that. But if you pick that buff, then you're not picking another buff that will make something that you have that is very good, that will make it super, super good. So there's a lot of different strategies you can go when selecting a buff, but we're not going to worry about the buffs right now. We're just teaching the basic mechanics. Then you have your input cards. Those are these directions, these arrows that you see right here. Every character will have these, though there are some variations. Some characters, they can actually do moves without using those arrows, but you're gonna see arrows like this in all the characters. So Lucas, he has this card right here, he has this one right here, he has this one right here, but different characters will have, I'm sorry, I got an alert here, but different characters will have different types of cards, right? Then you have your punches and kicks. Everyone has punches and kicks. What will change is the quantity. So Lucas is a character that uses a little bit more punches than kicks, so he has more punches than kicks. Some characters will dramatically use more punches than kicks, so they will have a lot more punches than kicks, or it can be the opposite. They might have more kicks or more punches, or it can be even closer. In the case of Lucas, is a little bit more punches than kicks. Then you have, let's skip this one right here for now. You have block. Now block is one of your defensive options. We're going to talk about that a little later. You have throw. We covered throw. This is something that you use to attack. It deals also 1 damage. There's something you can do for defense with that as well, but we'll cover that later. You have dodge. Dodge is your basic defensive card. When someone attacks you, if you have a dodge, you usually can get away with it. This is a very precious card. Everybody has a dodge. Some characters might have more dodges than normal, so it varies a little. This card is called a cross-up. This is something that not everybody has. This is something that Lucas has, but not all characters. This will modify some of his attacks, mostly his punches and kicks, but it can also affect one of his special moves called slide kick, because it's written here in the card. And it will allow it to go over a block. So it's very useful. It's a little unique, a little distinct the way you use it, but not everybody has. It's a unique tool that Lucas has. Oh, and this is a dodge again. This should be here, right? So I skipped this one. This is called option select. So option select can be anything. You can think of option select like a joker in a traditional card game. So whatever you want to use it for. Or you want to throw a punch and you don't have a punch, use an option select. Or maybe option select can be your block, or your dodge, or your throw, or even your cross up if you're Lucas. Or maybe it's one of your inputs. It can be anything you want. But you only have one. So use it wisely. Okay, now let's talk about these tokens right here. So these are your super tokens, right? If you flip them, you're going to see that the other side is half. Why? Because depending on what you do, you're going to get tokens, you're going to use tokens. So every time you use one of your special moves, just the fact that you've done it, you're going to get half a super token, right? So this one right here. If you've done a one of your special moves, in case of Lucas, it will be a Ki Blast or a Slide Kick or a Rising Fist. This will give you half a super token. If it lands, right, fully connects, you get another half. Bam. So now you have one super token, right? And if you have all 5 super tokens, like so, you can then spend all of them to perform your super, even if you're not in red. If you are in red, which would be 5 or less, so something like this, if you are in red, you don't need to use the tokens. You can just do it for free. Well, not for free, you need the cards, right? So for example, super ki blast would be 2 of those arrows to the right, which we call quarter circle forwards, plus a punch would be 2 of those. But you don't need to use the tokens if you are on red. If you are not on red, then yeah, you're gonna need to use all 5 of your super tokens. But you can also use them to do something else. You can use them to do EX attacks. Now EX attacks are a way to upgrade your special moves, let's call it. So again, Lucas has, for example, Ki Blast, right? So Ki Blast is done with a quarter circle forward and a punch. This is a Ki Blast. If you want to do an EX Ki Blast, you need 2 things. You need another punch and you need a token. So if you have this, now you have an EX Ki Blast. Now the benefits is going to be +1 damage, so a little more damage, and it will also give you something called a knockdown, which is, let's call it a positive trait. We're not going to get into that right now, but it will give you some benefits for the cost of spending a little bit of your meter. Traditionally that's all you can do, but some characters might be able to spend their tokens doing something else, right? Okay, let's go over a typical turn. So I think you know what, I'm afraid I might need those cards again, so I'm just gonna copy them and let's take these ones out. And these cards right here, again, this is why I use Tabletop Simulator. It allows me to do all these things very easily. Okay, so you have your deck right here, right? So if you're starting your round, the first thing, so you're gonna have your character right here, you're gonna have your life right here. You're not gonna have those tokens. Let's put them aside. It can be anywhere. They don't need to be in order. I just like to maintain them in order, but they don't need to be. All right, so it's the start of my turn. Well, I'm gonna have 7 cards in my hand. Let's have 7 cards here. So I have these 7 cards in my hand. Let's say I use some of these, I don't know, in previous rounds. Let's say like I have these cards right here, right? So I have these cards. So I'm starting my round. So I'm going to draw 1 card. So I drew 1 card, okay? Now, I have a choice at this moment. I can either do something, or I can say, hey, that's all I want to do in my round. And for doing that, I get the benefit of drawing another card. Now, here's the important part. I cannot do that if it puts me over 7 cards. Right now, I have 5 in my hand. So if I get a second card, it's going to be card number 6, so no problem, right? So just get another card and that's it. I ended my turn. But let's say I had 6 and I start my round. And I pick card number 7, so now I have 7. And I say, oh, I don't want to do anything. Can I get another card? No, I cannot, because then I will go over 7. I cannot go over 7. But let's say I had 7. Can I start my turn drawing a card? Yes. If I start my turn, I can go over 7. But not when I get that second card. So pay attention to that. All right, so let's put this one. So let's say I drew a card. All right, so I drew a card. And I decided, no, I wanna do something. What can I do? There are basically 2 things that I wanna do. I wanna either attack or I wanna set up a block, because a block is not something that I play from my hand. But let's say I wanna attack. So how can I attack? I can attack with a throw, I can attack with a normal, which is a punch or a kick, or I can attack with one of my special moves. Looking at my hand right here, since I'm Lucas, let's say I wanna use a kick, right? So the way I do it is I say, hey, I'm gonna use a kick, and I put my kick card. Okay, I put my kick card and I wait to see how my opponent will react. At this point, he has a few choices that he can do. Mostly he can use a dodge, for example. Let's say he uses a dodge or he evades the attack. If he doesn't use anything, he say, oh, I got hit by the kick. 2 things happen. 1, he already takes 1 damage, because a normal would deal 1 damage. So if this was his life, he was going to do like this, right? So he took 1 damage. At this point, I can actually do a combo. If one of my attacks hit, I can do a combo into something bigger. So from a normal, I can combo into a special. From a special I can combo into a super. But this was a normal. A punch or a kick is a normal. So I can go into a special. Now what are Lucas specials again? Let's do, for example, a Ki Blast. That will be that first special move right there. So I can combo into a Ki Blast. So I'll do like this. At this point he can't do anything anymore. If he wanted to do something, he had to do it against the kick. If he got hit by the kick, there's nothing else he can do. He has to take whatever else I do it. In this case it's a special. So now he is going to take 2 extra damage. So in total he took 3 damage. What else happened? I used a special. I used my Ki Blast right here. Okay, so every time I use a special, I'll get half a token, like this. Since my special connected, I get another half. So I got 1 token, I dealt 3 damage. Can I continue my combo? If I had supers, I could. But remember, I would either have to have my life on red, or I have to use all 5 super tokens. Plus I'd have to have the cards right now in my hand. I don't even have the cards in my hands. I don't have all the tokens. I don't have my life on red. So I can't continue this combo. So that's it. Can I attack again? No, I can only attack once per turn. However, there is something else I can do. I might want to set up a block, because a block is not something that I use when someone attacks me. A block is something that I set up before. So it's my turn. I'm going to say, okay, so I'm going to set up a block. So I'm going to put a block here, and I will remain blocking. Okay, so it's my opponent's turn now. He draws a card. He says, hey, I'm going to use this punch against you. Okay, but I'm blocking. So what's going to happen is that this punch will destroy my block, but I'm not going to take damage. He destroyed the block, but because I was blocking, I don't take damage. Can he combo like that? He can, but the whole combo hits the block, and the block will make you not take damage from a normal, and you're going to take reduced damage from everything else. So specials, again, they deal 2 damage, like the Ki Blast that we've been using, for example, right? So instead of 2, it's 1. Now let's say he wants to combo, so he does like a punch, which I am blocking, and then I say, okay, I'll take it. So I'll take the punch, and then say, oh, I'm gonna combo a Ki Blast. So he does a Ki Blast, and I take in total 1 damage. If I wasn't blocking, this would be 3 damage, and then I lose my block. Can he attack me again? No, because he can only attack once per turn. If I wasn't blocking, and he says, hey, I'm going to throw a punch, what can I do at this point? Can I use a block? No. I have to use a block on my own turn before I have to decide, hey, I'm going to start blocking. If he is attacking me right now, it's too late to block. But I might be able to do something else. Let me search right here for the right card. So if he's throwing a punch and I have a dodge in my hand, let's get this card right here. Right. So he's throwing a punch, I can use my dodge card, and then I dodge his punch, and I don't take the damage. Or this could be a special. He doesn't need to start with a punch. This could be a Ki Blast. This could be a throw. This could even be a super. Whatever he does, I use a dodge. I get away scotch-free. All right. So that's how defense works. Now let's talk about throws, because throws are a little... In fact, before we go into that, you might have noticed that some cards are blue and some cards are yellow and red. Now why is that? Well, the blue cards every character has. So half your character's deck is going to be blue, and the other half is going to be yellow and red. Why is that? Because the yellows and reds are exclusive. So the yellows and red only apply to Lucas, and the blue ones apply to everyone. Now this is important in the future when you want to upgrade the game, get new characters. The new characters will only come with the yellow and red cards, because you can use the same blue ones you had for Lucas with the new characters. Right? This means that you need less new characters with the new characters. If you want, you can just get the whole new set for the new character as well. But if you want a cheaper option, you can just go for the specialized cards, and then it just makes it easier for you. But you can also just get a complete new set. So that's why the cards are different, but it's the same thing, right? I should mention every character has a set amount of cards, a set number of punches, a set number of kicks and blocks and dodges and everything. And you're going to find them in this card right here. So this card has the story of the character. You can see his country, age, fighting style, a little bit of story. And in the other side, if you flip it, it has how many cards he has. So Lucas, for example, has 7 punches and 5 kicks. Now this is important because balance is designated by this, right? So giving 1 extra card for someone might change everything. So you might have a character, he's like the super burly character, super strong, but hey, he only has 1 dodge. The normal, by the way, is 2 dodges, but that character only has 1. And then you have a fast character who has 3 dodges. So those things make a lot of difference. How many blocks, how many dodges, how many throws you have. But anyways, let's go back to the throws. So let's say someone attacks me with a throw. Okay. Now a throw is a little bit different. If I get hit by this throw, I take 1 damage, just like a normal, just like a punch or a kick. But there's no combos out of throw. A throw is just a throw. So I take 1 damage, that's it. That's the end of the story. However, even if I was blocking, the throw will still do 1 damage. A throw does not care if I'm blocking or not. But, on the other hand, I also don't get a combo out of the throw. Can I dodge a throw? Yes, I can dodge a throw, but I can also do something else against the throw. And again, let me do the thing here to search for a specific card. If you're attacking me with a throw, instead of dodging, I can just use my own throw. This makes it so none of us connect with the throw, and I get away scotch-free. Alright, so every time that you're going to attack someone, a few things happen. First, you declare your initial attack if you want to attack. It's going to either be a normal, a punch or a kick, or it would be a special, or it would be a throw, or a super, either way. And then you wait to see what your opponent is going to do. They might dodge, they might, if it's a throw, they might use another throw. There's a few moves that will cancel other moves, stuff like that. If they don't, if you connect, then you can combo something bigger. You go from a normal, which is a punch or a kick, so this will be a normal. You go from a normal to a special, which would be, for example, for Lucas, this would be a special, right? Into a super, which again, for example, let's see, for Lucas, a super would be, let's put this over here. This would be a super for Lucas, for example, right? Now you come in, let's use another two here. So from a normal, you can go into a special, and from a special, you can go into a super, assuming you can use supers. So you can go all 3, but you don't need to follow this order. You can go from a normal straight to a super. Or you can start with a special and go to a super. From a super, you go nowhere because it needs to go bigger. Right? You can't go backwards. You have to go bigger. But you don't need to follow the normal special super. You can go normal super or you can go special super. From a throw, you don't get combos. The throw is useful because it ignores block, but you don't get a combo out of a throw. Alright. Okay. Now let's say I decided to do a punch like so, right? And the punch connects. Now I want a combo. I have this kick right here, but I don't have the correct command, which will be, if you look here, it would be the arrow to the left there, which we call quarter circle back, or you can just say arrow to the left, it's the same thing. Let's say I don't have that one. Oops. So let's say I have this one right here, which is the arrow pointing towards the right. Can I do this one? No, it has to specifically be the one to the left, right? It will have to be this one right here. But if I have an option select, now remember, option select can be anything. It's like a joker, so I can just use this. So I can do this to do a punch, it connects, and then I can do my slide kick like this, right? With my option selects. Or I can just start with the option select with the slide kick. Again, I don't need to do a combo, it's just an option. Alright, now let's get into some more complicated and specifics way to defend yourself. Now, so far I only talked about the basics, but the truth is that depending on your character, you're gonna get a lot of specific things. So let's look at Lucas. Lucas has this move called a Rising Fist. And a Rising Fist says that it counters normal. So this is another defensive option for you. So if I'm Lucas, I can use a Rising Fist to attack, sure, but I can also use it to defend myself. So let's say you are attacking my Lucas and you decide to do a kick. Now what is a kick? A kick is a normal, and a Rising Fist counters normal. So you say, hey, I want to do a kick, and now I have a few options. I can take the kick, and if I take the kick, you might want to combo me. I can use my dodge. I can't use my block because I would have to have used my block before. I can't use it on reaction like that. But what I can do is a Rising Fist. So let's search for the correct card right here again. So let's say I have the correct cards to do a Rising Fist, which would be these ones. So in response to your kick, I'm going to do a Rising Fist. This says that it counters normal, meaning you take the damage, not me. So even though you attacked, you're going to take 2 points of damage because it's a special. I use the special, I will get half a token. It connected, I will get another half a token. This was done in defense. Now, can you dodge my Rising Fist? No, you cannot, because this is called a reaction. When you use a move to react to something, it's called a reaction. And against a reaction, you don't have any resource. You can't dodge, or you can't use another reaction against a reaction. There's no thing like that. So it's an attack, and if I do a reaction, that's it. You can't do anything else. You know, of course, for every rule, there is a character that has something very specific in a specific scenario. So you might actually, depending on your character, have something that you can do here. But in general, if I have a reaction against your attack, you're out of luck. There's nothing you can do about it. So in this case, because you tried a normal, which is either a punch or a kick, because I had Rising Fist, you got hit. But notice here that it's a lot about reading the opponent, because I need to have these cards. If I don't have a punch, I can't use Rising Fist, so I don't have this resource. Same thing is if I don't have this card, I need to have these two cards. So it's a lot about reading the game and feeling what your opponent might have, or taking a gamble sometimes. Now this only happened because you attacked with a normal, which is again a punch or a kick. If you had used a throw, now I don't have the Rising Fist resource, because this counters normal. This is not a normal, this is a throw. So now I don't have this resource. Same thing is if you decided to attack me with a special. Let's say you use your own Rising Fist, for example. That's a special. I can't counter that special. So depending on your character and depending on the attack that is being used against you, you might have other resources. In this case, I had the resource of Rising Fist because Lucas has this excellent defensive move, and you happen to be attacking me with a normal, which is something that I can counter. Some characters will have more stuff like this. Some will not have stuff like this, and they will have other things to compensate. Now something else that Rising Fist does is a knockdown. We mentioned knockdown briefly before. Knockdown is as follows. So if I hit you with a Rising Fist, like we said, you get half a token for using, I get, because I'm attacking you, I get half a token for using and another half a token for hitting, right? The other thing that I get, besides the 2 damage also, the other thing is a knockdown. A knockdown means that I draw a new card. Okay, so if I hit a knockdown, I get a new card, which is very useful to replenish your hand. By the way, when you're getting hit by a special, so let's say you use that Rising Fist on me. I got hit by a Rising Fist. Let's put this card right here back. So if I'm the one getting hit by that, I get half a token. if I get hit. Now it needs to be a full connect. So if I'm blocking, for example, like this, and you do, let's say, a punch, well, it does nothing. Well, it will destroy the block, but I don't take damage. There's no meter being gained because meter is only for specials. If we use, let's say, a Rising Fist, like we were talking about, because I'm blocking, it's going to be less damage, so it's going to be 1 point of damage instead of 2. You will get half a token for using, but you will not get the other half for a full connect, because it's not a full connect. So not on block, you only get half. And me, the person who got hit, I also don't get half. I also don't get my half, because it needs to be a full connect. On a block, I don't get anything. I will take 1 damage, I will lose my block, I don't get any meter. You get half a meter for using. Well, you got rid of my block, but you don't get the other half for hitting me with it. Let's take a look at Lucas's other moves. So Ki Blast is a projectile. Now projectiles have a few distinct features. So the first thing about projectiles is, remember how you can use a throw and the player on the defense can react to your throw with another throw? The same thing applies to a projectile. So if I decide to use a Ki Blast, you on the defensive side, you have the option to use your own Ki Blast against mine to react to that. Also worth noticing, you're gonna find characters with things like, oh, you can dodge a special, you can counter a special, and often it will say except projectiles, right? Or non-projectile specials, because usually projectiles, they get away with a lot of stuff that attacks their arm projectiles they don't, so you're gonna have stuff like that. But the projectile also causes pushback. Now pushback is an effect that makes it, if you get hit by pushback, for the next turn you can only attack the person who threw that projectile with a projectile yourself. So let's break it down. I'm Lucas, right? You hit me with a, well, let's say you're another Lucas. You hit me with a projectile on your turn. Now it's my turn. Can I attack you on my turn? Yes, if I attack with a projectile. It's the only way I can attack you. If I can't or I don't want to attack with a projectile, I have to wait for my next turn to attack you. This is obviously more useful if I don't have a projectile, because then you basically buy yourself a turn to breathe, right? Usually most of these effects only happen if you hit someone with a full connect, so not on block, but not pushback. Pushback actually works even if I block. So even if I block your projectile, I'll still be under pushbacks, meaning on my next turn I still won't be able to attack you unless I do so with a projectile. Then we have slide kicks, like it says that it can be used with a cross-up. Yeah, let's talk about cross-up, by the way. So this is cross-up. This is a card that not everybody has. Lucas does. A cross-up is a card that he doesn't actually use a cross-up by himself. A cross-up is something that he uses alongside other cards. Mostly a normal, right? So either a punch or a kick. So let's say I was blocking. So I'm Lucas, I'm blocking. And the other Lucas wants to kick me. So what is this kick going to do? Again, it's going to destroy my block, but I'm not going to take any damage. Can he combo? Yes, but the combo will do reduced damage. So a special, instead of 2 points of damage, will do only 1. And a super, instead of 5, will do only 2 points of damage. So it's not ideal. But he can actually do this. A kick with a cross-up. If he empowers a kick with a cross-up, now it's as if I'm not blocking. That kick will do damage to me. That kick can lead to a combo that will do full damage to me. It makes it so my block doesn't mean anything anymore if he does that. He can do that with a kick or with a punch. Can he do that with one of his special moves? Can he do that with Ki Blast? No. Rising Fist? No. Can he do that with Slide Kick? Yes. Only because it's written there. So he can, for example, do a sliding kick, which would be this arrow right here and a kick. Okay, so this is a slide kick. If I'm blocking, that's 1 damage. combo reduce damage. I don't get a super token because I don't get full connect. You only get half, not the other half. But he does this. Now it's as if I'm not blocking. So that's crossover. But by itself, it does nothing. Alright. Let's see if we covered everything. So there's... Oh, we're looking at the moves game. So, we got to the supers. Lucas is a fairly easy character. You have a super version of Ki Blast and a super version of Slide Kick. Super Slide Kick works the same. It's just a matter of when you can do it, which is again when you are on red life or when you have all 5 super tokens. Super Ki Blast is a super projectile. So let's talk again about projectiles. Let's do some drawings here. So, I'm player 1 and I do a projectile, which would be a Ki Blast in this case. Player 2, what are your options to defend against that? Well, if you were blocking before, you would take reduced damage and on that projectile and the whole combo, but you had to be doing that before. You can't do that on reaction. So let's put like an asterisk here, right? Let's just pretend this is an asterisk. Okay, so that's the first option. The second option is a dodge. Yeah, so this you can use in reaction. I use a projectile, you dodge, you're free. But dodges are precious, so you really need to think. Do you have any other move that can deal with a projectile as Lucas? Well, no, except your own projectile. So you can do your own projectile. If you do your own projectile, they will nullify, nobody takes damage, you're good to go. However, remember the EX mechanic when you do one of his tokens and an extra button, by the way. I mentioned that in case of a Ki Blast it would be 2 punches instead of 1. But in case of Slide Kick, it will be 2 kicks instead of 1 kick. So you add an extra normal plus a token. So if I had done an EX Ki Blast, which we'll call, let's say a plus here. Alright, so if I do a regular one, what I'm going to do against that is I'm going to make it so I don't take as much damage. Instead of 3 points of damage, again 3 because it's 2 normal, plus 1 because it's EX. Instead of 3, I would take 1 point of damage. I still suffer the normal effects. If I do my own EX, okay, now it nullifies. Now nobody takes any damage. But there's another type of projectile, which is the super projectile, which in this case would be Lucas's super Ki Blast. So if he does a super projectile, can I do my own projectile? No, it doesn't do anything. Can I do my EX projectile? No, it also doesn't do anything. I need to do my own super projectile to nullify this. So nullify means nobody takes any damage. To nullify. So I don't have this option anymore. I can still block if I was blocking before to take reduced damage. I can still dodge. But if I want to nullify with another projectile, it needs to be super projectile. So it needs to be the same level. Let's erase these things right here. Oh yeah, and let's talk about EX. I mentioned before that when you hit someone with an EX special, you get plus 1 damage. So instead of 2, you do 3 in this case. And you're gonna notice that everybody has at least one move that is a knockdown. And again, knockdown means that you draw a card when you hit. In the case of Lucas, it's Rising Fist. But if it's an EX, all EXs are knockdown. So if I hit someone with an EX Ki Blast, that's a knockdown. EX Slide Kick, that's a knockdown. Right? So every EX will be a knockdown. So it's plus 1 damage, and it's also a knockdown if it's an EX attack. Alright. Let's see what else we have here. I guess we could go over these things, but those are just modifiers to your game, the buffs that would change the way your character behaves. So that's something that you can learn as you play the game. They're not the basic rules. So yeah, I guess that's the basic. Let's just go over your turn again, right? So I have a certain number of cards in my hand. Let's say I had, well, very first turn of the game. Let's go very first turn. So I have 7 cards in my hand. I'm starting the game. right? So the person starting the game doesn't actually draw a card. So in this case, I can only act from my hand. And I have to decide, do I want to block or do I want to attack? Now, usually I block later. Last, actually, I should say, because there's something else I mentioned. If I'm blocking, so that's me, I'm blocking right here. There are a few ways that I can lose this block. I will keep blocking forever unless, one, I decide, hey, I don't want to block anymore, so I'm going to discard my block. I can do that. The second thing is I attack. Any attack that I do, I can do a normal, which is a punch or a kick. I can do a special, which would be a rising fist, for example. Anything I do, if it's an attack, my block's gone, right? And if you attack and hit my block, now let's say you throw that kick over there, right? And let's say, let me get another card here from my, let's get this one. It's a good one. So you threw that kick. Well, I'm blocking, so I say, oh, you know what? Hit my block. I will lose the block because you hit my block with your kick. And I don't take any damage because a normal against a block means that I don't take any damage. But you use that kick and I say, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use a dodge. Now, this is not a dodge. This is option select, which again is kind of like a joker. So this is a dodge. So I dodge that kick. If I dodge that kick, I get to maintain my block. If my block was not hit, I get to keep it. It will stay there forever unless I either take it out, I attack, or it gets hit. Maybe use that, and again, this is a normal, right? Punches and kicks are normals. So I decide to do a rising fist. Remember, Lucas has the rising fist, it counters normal. So that means that you're gonna take damage instead of me. But now I'm attacking, even though it's to defend myself, but it's an attack. So I lose my block. Not that I need it, because I just found another way to defend myself. But if I want to keep the block, maybe I don't want to do this because I want to save it and I already have the block. You know, there's a strategy to consider. But yeah, so that's blocking. Okay, so we're going over my turn again, right? So I'm here, I have 5 cards. This is not the very first turn of the game because in the very first turn I wouldn't draw a card. And I just draw a new card. So I draw a new card, and at this point, I think, hey, do I want to block? Let's say I have this block in my hand. Do I want to block? Maybe I want to block, but I have to make sure block is the last thing I do, because again, if I block and I attack, I just lose my block immediately, so there's no point in doing it. So before blocking, I should ask myself, do I want to attack? If I want to attack, how do I want to attack? Do I want to do a throw? Do I want to do a normal? Or do I want to do a special or a super? If I can do super. Let's say I want to do a normal, which would be a kick. So I do a kick. Oh, but I have a plan. My plan is to do a kick and combo into a ki blast. That's my plan, right? But first I gotta wait to see if the kick connects. So I do a kick and say, hey, I'm doing a kick. What are you gonna do about it? Is he gonna dodge? Is he gonna do a rising fist to me, assuming he's Lucas? If he doesn't do anything, kick connects, 1 damage. Oh, now it's combo time, baby. Can he dodge now? No. Can he use any other resource? Anything he can do about it now? Nope. It's too late now. He had to do something about that kick. He didn't do it. Now it's too late. Just sit back and watch the combo, baby. So, 3 damage in total, you know, and all the resources. Yeah, so that's okay. So I attacked. Well, I spent this actually because I attacked. Okay, so I use this, spend the cards, turns done. Now I ask myself, do I want to block? Okay, hey, yes, I want to block. So let's set that block. But let's say I had these cards. Okay, so I had 3 cards. I can only attack once, but I can do any other number of things. Usually there's not much I can do. It's attack or block. Some characters might have other stuff, but it's usually block and attack. Okay, so I attacked, done, we dealt with that, and now I want to block. So I'm gonna put my block here. Okay, now I'm blocking. And now I'm gonna end my turn. But if I end my turn with less than 3, in this case I'm ending with 2, I get a free card. Oops, pressed the wrong button there. Get a free card, because I need to end it with 3. If, you know, I had only the block in my hand, So I attacked whatever, and then, oh, I'm gonna block. So I'm ending now with 0 cards. I get 3. If I end my turn, I need to have 3 cards in my hand, right? And if I'm starting my turn, that's okay. So it's my turn again. I'll draw a card. Do I want to do anything? Do I want to attack? If I don't do anything at all, I can't attack, I can't block, I can't do anything. If I don't do anything at all, I can say, hey, I don't want to do anything. I'm going to get another card. There you go. Again, this can't go over 7. Let me just check the soundtrack over here. There you go. All right. So I didn't. I got 2 cards. Oh, can I do something now? No, because if I got that second card, it means that I decided that I don't want to do anything else in my turn. It's the other player's turn now. Let's say turn comes back to me. My turn again. I have 5 cards. Draw a card. Do I want to do anything? At this point, I have 6. I was like, nope, I don't want to do anything. Oh, then I get another card. I have 7. Okay. Your turn. You don't do anything. Whatever. It's me again. Okay, let's start my turn. Get a card. Now, how many I have? I have 8 right now, actually. I have 8. I don't want to do anything anymore. Can I get another card? No. Besides, I also can't end with more than 7. Right now, I have 8. If I don't want to attack, if I don't want to set up this block, I don't want to do anything with this, then I need to discard something. Because I can't end with more than 7. So, okay, then I really don't want to do anything, so I'm just going to discard this block. So I have 7 cards. Now remember, I want to emphasize this again. If I had, let's say I have 6, it's my turn. I draw a card. I have 7. Do I want to do anything? No, I don't want to do anything. Can I get another card? No. I can't, for example, oh, let's get another card, and then I'll discard something. No, I can't do that. If it will cause me to go over 7, I cannot get that second card. It's okay if it's my first card, if I'm starting my turn. But to be my bonus extra card because I didn't do anything, that can't happen. I can't go over 7, and I can't end with less than 3. If I end with less than 3, I get some bonus cards. Well, guys, I think this is basics rules of how Arcade Champion works. Of course, there's a few other variations. We also have Lucas' skill. Maybe we can talk quickly about that as well. Why not? So, underneath the character's name, everyone has at least one skill. Lucas's is called Focus Key. Now, this will change dramatically depending on your character. Some people will call this a passive. It's an okay name, but the problem is that for some characters, this is actually something else they can do. It's not a special, but it's something else they can do. So sometimes it's not as passive. In this case, I guess it is a passive, you could call it. What this means is that when it comes to projectile, Lucas is especially good because I cause something called stun with my projectile. So let's talk about stun. You can only cause stun if you have a specific move that deals stun, right? There's no stun meter. So either your character is able of causing stun or he isn't. But Lucas has something special because remember I mentioned that all of these effects, they only work if you hit someone with a full connect, so not on block, with exception of pushback, which is that one that makes you lose a turn unless you can attack with a projectile. Every other effect, it doesn't work on block. But Lucas can stun you even on block because of Focus Key, because it says there, my projectiles will cause a stun. So if I do a Key Blast or a Super Key Blast, they will stun my opponent even if they block. So stun, let me get some cards here. Well, this won't do. Let me find the right card here. Alright, this will be better. Let's get this one right here. Okay, don't need this one. Okay, so let's say you caused me to be stunned. I'm stunned at this moment. You were another Lucas and you just hit me with a Key Blast, for example, right? So let's say this is my life bar, so I had 14, right? So you got me with a Key Blast. That's 1 damage. That's actually 2 damage. So I'm gonna take this out of the game. I took 2 damage and I'm stunned. So if I'm stunned, I have a choice now. I can use a normal, which is either a punch or a kick. It has to be either a punch or a kick, or again an option select, because that's like a joker. I have to use one of these to avoid stun, to break off stun. If I do that, I'm no longer stunned, I'm safe. If I don't do that, then my opponent gets a choice. He gets to attack me again for free, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't use any reactions of any kinds. He can do whatever he wants. He can do a full combo, whatever he wants, but it's half damage. It's rounded, but it's half damage. Or he just decides to leave me stunned. If he just decides to leave me stunned, so he did that on his turn, right? Now it's my turn, and I'm stunned. I get to draw a card, and nothing else. I can't do anything else. I can't attack, I can't set up a block, I can't even get a second card if I decide not to do anything. I only get that very first card and nothing else. That's my stun turn. Good news is, I will no longer be stunned after I pass the turn, but I just really missed a complete turn. If he decides not to attack me when I'm stunned, because he can also just attack me and then I'll be able to play normally, if I live to tell the tale. So yeah, I guess now I can say those are the basic rules of how you play Arcade Champion. There are tons of characters planned for the game. Originally, your initial box of the game comes with 2 characters, Lucas and Emma. There's also 2 bonus characters, which are characters that share the same deck. So in total you have 4 different characters. Everyone has their own special moves, their own super moves. You have 2 sets of 4 different buffs, 4 different options that you can use either with Lucas or the bonus characters, and with Emma or the other bonus character. So you have a lot of variation just with that initial box, with 4 characters, 4 buffs, a whole lot of games that you can play. If you have more people with the box, you can play more than 2 players, right? If you only have 1 box, you can play in 2 players. But if you have more than 1, you can play in more players. And for the future, if the game does well, there are plans for tons of other characters. They will have their own unique things. Basically, every rule that I mentioned here, someone somewhere might be able to break it a little bit, break it or bend it, right? But then we get into really character-specific things. But this is basically how the game works. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you give it a chance. I made the game, so I'm suspect to say, but I am really proud of it, and I'm confident that if you give it a chance, you will like it. Hopefully you do. This has been a Dokimi Player, and I'll see you guys later.